Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading People That Have Gone From Ugly to Very Attractive. How Did Your Life Change? Also, before we start, I checked the stats today and only about 10% of our viewers who watch are currently subscribed. So here's a short motivational message to encourage you to subscribe.
Do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
My life changed completely. Lost 70 pounds and cut a foot of hair off my sophomore year of college. People started treating, looking, talking, and hitting on me differently. I've lost and gained friends with my so-called transformation. Before my transformation, people treated me like crap. I was that kid who always got picked on and who had little to no friends. However, this is not the case anymore. Lost a few friends due to their shallowness towards me after changing. Also gained some friends with more people starting to talk to me. It took me some time to feel comfortable with this change. I now learned to channel my looks for the greater good. Here is a before picture. Here's an after. People seem to realize I exist now, which is weird because I used to be over 300 pounds. When I walk into a room, people take notice and typically make eye contact and smile. When I was heavy, people would quickly glance away from me. It hit me the hardest yesterday though. I always hated getting my photo taken with my best friend since she has always been the pretty one. When we saw each other this weekend though, I realized I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's an insane change going from the fat and ugly friend to just a friend, and maybe even a hot one. A before picture on the left. After picture on the left. I'm a 5'4", 18-year-old girl and I used to be 200 pounds. High school and middle school was the bane of my existence. People don't talk to you because you're fat. I never had guy attention and shallow girls love to keep you fat because it makes them feel better about themselves. I lost the weight in a year through a lot of friggin' hard work. Life became completely different. Everyone was nicer suddenly. Everyone wanted to be my friend. Everyone wanted to help me with something. Are you friggin' joking? Yes, I get that I sweat a ton of lard every day and I could probably have fed a small village if they wanted to raise me as livestock, but that didn't make me any less of a human being. In the time I was ignored, I developed a personality and character rather than rely on my good looks. I love that I became who I am by my skills and interests rather than my looks and attention. I'm not trying to say good-looking people don't have that, not at all, but I believe it has made me a stronger person with more admirable qualities. Before 200 pounds. After 130. About to get buried up in this thread, but oh well, I just enjoy sharing as motivation. My biggest weight, 255 pounds. My smallest weight, 160 pounds, and now 195. A long story short, people see you as ugly when you're bigger. I was never the attractive one, always skipped over, always friend zoned. The friend zone exists, by the way, due to a lack of confidence. This is very generic, but fake it until you make it. Stick that chin up and pretend you're the friggin' man/woman. When you believe in yourself, so do others. I dropped the weight. My confidence peaked. I got an incredibly kind and beautiful girlfriend. Before, I was ignored. Now I'm on 2 banners for a college's website. The banners that rotate when you first land on the home page. And the other day I was asked to look into a modeling contract from an agent at work, a photography company. Things are great. Is dating easier? Incredibly. Does everyone seem shallow? You bet. The difference between fat me and attractive me is all aesthetics. I'm still a loser. Not sure if this will see the light of day, but I went through a 10-year awkward phase from 10 to 20 years old. My hair was frizzy and out of control. I wore baggy clothes because I was 80 pounds overweight and insecure with a really bad posture, and I wore wire-rimmed glasses that I rarely wanted to use. I never went out on a date when I was in grade school and never went out because of my insecurities. Then I started losing the weight. I got contacts, started to dress nicer, fixed my hair better, and suddenly I started getting asked out more and my social life skyrocketed. But I think it has a lot to do with me than other people. I actually became a bit more confident and positive, and people feed off of that. The looks help, don't get me wrong, and I also still keep to myself sometimes since I can't hide the awkward antisocial chick all the time. Left before picture, right after picture. This will probably get buried, but I know what it's like to be fat and then not fat. People are much nicer to me now that I've lost 90 pounds. I'm pretty oblivious when I get checked out though. My husband tells me when it happens. He'll be like, "Did you see that guy checking you out?" And I'll be like, "Nope." I'm grateful I experienced being undesired though. It helps put perspective on everything. People are all important, and that's something my kids know too. Here's a before and after for reference. I finally grew into my own skin and learned how to use makeup properly and dress myself recently after being an incredibly awkward child and teenager. I was never ugly, but I was pretty average, oddly proportioned, and easily overlooked. I definitely got more positive attention from strangers, but I question everyone's motives. If someone starts subtly flirting, I automatically dismiss the advances and friend-zone them out of habit, assuming that friendship is what they're interested in. If someone is more direct, I feel like they're shallow and my appearances are all they value, since my personality is what I'm used to relying on. However, my confidence in general has definitely gone up. I'm not really afraid to talk to strangers or people with whom I'm not well acquainted anymore. And to be honest, as much as I like to believe it wasn't because of my appearance, it's been much easier to get jobs and a social network. A picture of myself today at 20, holding my 3rd grade school picture. This will probably get buried, but here goes. My top weight was 481 pounds, and I had never at any point in my life been remotely thin. I was always the big kid, the much bigger kid. When you're fat and in school, you always hope there is someone at least fatter than you to not feel so bad. And nope, I was constantly picked on. I even had to change middle schools in 8th grade because of it. High school was not so bad. I just played the part of the funny fat guy. I never thought I was that fat until my friend bought me a 4XL shirt that said, "I beat my ED" on it. It didn't fit. I was probably wearing a 6XL at the time, and eventually I got up to a 9XL shirt. When you see people that fat, there are only a few shirts that they can wear. I always either wore flannel shirts or sweatshirts, never just a t-shirt. Funny enough, that "I beat my ED" shirt was my first goal shirt, and I still have it. 3 years before I decided to lose weight, I got a work-study job at my college, working at a gym. So every time I worked, I would see buff, healthy people come in, but at no point was any person ever critical of my weight. In fact, I still worked there, and my best friends ever have been and are currently co-workers. In 2010, I was invited to a friend's wedding and heard a girl I liked in high school would be there. I loved this girl, and she knew. In fact, I'm sure the whole damn school knew. But she had a boyfriend, and let's face it, she was thin and pretty while I was probably 400 pounds at the time. My family had always been overweight, always ate more, and did little to no exercise. After failed diets, my mom was finally losing weight on Weight Watchers. However, I decided to go my own route and just eat healthy fruits, vegetables, lean meats, etc., and exercise. The first time I stepped foot on a treadmill as part of this new exercise routine, I will never forget. I was wearing some burning orange colored shorts, a black sweatshirt, and just my normal street shoes. I walked in the treadmill for 20 minutes, and after getting off it, it was the weirdest feeling ever to walk. I began to work out more and more, creating a tradition which has now led to my toy obsession with Super Sentai and Power Rangers. Every time I work out, I watch Super Sentai, so I'm essentially losing weight to a Japanese kids show. The wedding came around and I was down to a 6XL. Sporting my purple dress-up shirt and black dress pants, I went to the wedding, ready to see my crush. However, she wasn't there. After the wedding and the compliments, it became apparent. At first I was doing this for her, but now it's for me. I have so far lost about 253 pounds and now need to get surgery on my loose skin. So far my insurance will not cover it, and I'm having to suffer from back pain, loose skin soreness, etc. However, I'm hopeful I will get it someday. Now at work pretty much every day someone will ask me about my weight loss or dieting and exercise. If you would have told me 3 years ago while I was eating a whole pizza by myself, or eating a classic triple burger from Wendy's, or even a 6-pack and a pound by myself from Taco John's, that people would want my advice for weight loss, I would have laughed in your face. However, even with the weight lost, I have lower self-esteem now than I did when I weighed more, and I find it incredibly hard to approach women due to the fact that before, while I pretty much accepted I would probably be single forever. But I guess that is just a new adventure. However, I now at least get some good stares, and people just want to know more about what I did. So I guess becoming this has made me more genuine to others. A TLDR decided to lose weight while watching Japanese Power Rangers and went from 481 pounds to 227. Now everyone is nice. Before and after pic. And that brings us to the featured narwhals of the day from our subreddit. Our subreddit is a place to share pictures, ask questions, and get support on your weight loss journey. To join, just open the description below and click the top link. Click Use App, install the Reddit app, create an account, and then click Join once you're at our subreddit. We'd love to have you join us on the subreddit. Once again, the link is below. Our first featured narwhal of the day is Ziggy Panda, and they say, "This has always been the part of me I'm most self-conscious about, but I'm down 25 pounds and a back roll." Adders96 says, "Down 2 stone, 28 pounds, since the start of the year and cannot wait to lose more. Feeling really good about it. Was my heaviest at 17 stone and now down to 15. Hard work pays off. Lost track a bit with the whole lockdown, but back on the grind." And D. Kwanzi says, 280 pounds at my highest 2 years ago to 197 now. I went through a messy breakup, and in December at 260 pounds, I decided to finally work on my mental and physical health. Never felt better. Thanks for sharing featured narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. Thanks for watching narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.